My ex-husband's new wife accidentally sent me a message that was meant for him. It laid out exactly how they planned to edge me out and embarrass me at our friend's annual beach weekend. I didn't answer. I just booked the best suite. I've been part of this friend group for 14 years. I was the glue. I was the one that planned the dinners, tracked the birthdays, made sure everyone actually showed up. Scott and I came in as a couple, but I was the reason the group stayed together. Nobody questioned that. Then Scott left and brought in Whitney. 3 weeks before the beach house weekend, my phone buzzed. Whitney's name, a text. Hey, babe, just confirm with Tina. Everyone's a bit uneasy about Lauren coming. I told them what you said about her losing it at your work event. Tina's going to put her in the small room by the laundry so she's not in the way. Also, does she even know how to get there by herself? You always used to handle her travel. She's going to be a wreck trying to figure it out, and honestly, nobody wants to spend the whole weekend managing her while we're trying to unwind. I read it 3 times. 30 seconds later, oh gosh, that was meant for Scott. I'm so sorry, Lauren. Please ignore that. Can we talk? I took a screenshot, then closed the thread. Didn't respond. Scott called an hour later, that careful, measured tone he uses when he knows he's wrong but needs to sound right. I know Whitney sent you something by mistake. That message was taken out of context. We're just concerned about you. The beach house involves a lot of moving parts, the drive, the ferry timing, coordinating everything. I've always sorted that stuff for us. I just don't want you putting pressure on everyone if something goes sideways getting there. I'll be fine. Lauren, I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm being practical. We hung up. 2 days later, Tina called, the host, soft voice. I just want to make sure you feel comfortable. Scott mentioned you've been having a tough time lately. We can just put you in the smaller room. It's quieter away from the noise. The small room by the laundry. Whitney's suggestion. Already arranged. I told her I appreciated the thought, and then I called my sister. Claire's the sales director, different city every week. She spent more nights in hotel rooms in her own bed for the last 3 years, and she has zero tolerance for this kind of thing. I read her the text. She listened without interrupting. Then she said, Whitney sent you the whole strategy by mistake. Yes. And Scott called to smooth it over. Yes. And Tina offered you the room next to the washing machine. Yes. A pause. Lauren, they've already written the script for your weekend before you've even packed. The question is whether you follow it or write your own. Scott said I can't handle the logistics alone. Then you show up having handled everything perfectly. By yourself, no help, no drama, no asking anyone for a single thing. You walk in with one bag and look like the most put together person in that whole house. Because you will be. He's just spent years making you forget that. She sent me a link, overpack bag. She's had hers for a year. There's an electric pump. 5 seconds, vacuum compresses everything flat. She wore a silk blouse to a client meeting in Boston that came out without a single grease. They sell out constantly. There's a discount running right now, but it won't last. Every time they restock, the price goes up. Order tonight. What about the master suite, I asked. Book it, she said. Don't ask permission, just book it. So I ordered the bag and then I booked the suite separately from Tina's room assignments. Paid for it myself. It arrived 4 days before the weekend. Sleek, military-grade nylon. Smaller than I expected. 4 days at the beach. The annual retreat I'd attended for 14 years. 2 sundresses for evenings, both new, nothing from the marriage. Swimsuit, cover-up, sandals, 1 silk blouse for the group dinner, linen shorts, and a white shirt for travel days. Toiletries, my good jewelry, medications. I put everything in the compression compartment, grabbed a little electric pump, USB-C rechargeable, fit in my hand. Pressed the button. 5 seconds later, that quiet hum. Everything compressed flat, vacuum sealed. Sundresses, blouse, layers, all locked in tight. Zipped it closed, packed shoes and extra in the main compartment. Still had room. 4 days at the beach in something the size of an overnight bag. I booked my own car, figured out my own timing, handled every detail myself. Wednesday morning, Scott and Whitney were at the check-in when I arrived at the terminal. 2 large check bags each. A beach gear duffel. Whitney's oversized tote. Scott at the kiosk. 2 bags. Overweight. $75 a bag. Whitney reorganizing by the counter, pulling sandals out of one bag and stuffing them into another. I walked to the bag drop. Just the one, the agent asked. Just the one. Carry on. 60 seconds. I passed the check-in queue on the way to security. Whitney spotted me first. Lauren, is that all you brought? That's all of it. She looked at the duffel at her feet, then at my bag. For 4 days? For 4 days. Behind her, Scott was still arguing with the kiosk. I walked to security. At the queue, the woman directly ahead of me turned around. Mid-50s, structured tote over her shoulder. She looked at my bag. Is that an overpack bag? It is. I've been trying to get one for months. My sister's a flight attendant. She told me about the electric pump, the compression. Her whole crew uses them. I've been checking the website every week. She looked at it properly. All of it fits? For how long? 4 days. Everything. Oh, I'm telling my sister tonight. She shook her head. Enjoy your weekend. Whitney came through security 8 minutes later. Her tote had been pulled for additional screening. She was reorganizing at the collection trays. I was already at the gate. Coffee, book open. I arrived at the beach house first. 1 bag, walked straight to the master suite. Opened the balcony doors. I unzipped the compression compartment. Everything expanded back to shape on its own. Sundresses, blouse, all perfect. Like they'd been hanging in a closet the whole time. Scott and Whitney pulled up 40 minutes later. Packed rental car, 2 suitcases, the gear duffel, a cooler, Whitney's hat. She couldn't locate the keys in her tote. Scott was hauling bags from the trunk. It took him 20 minutes to get settled. I was already on the balcony with a glass of wine. Beach day. I had everything at my chair. Sunscreen, book, cover-up folded over the arm. Whitney's beach tote had everything except what she actually needed. She walked back to the house twice before noon. Forgot her cover-up, forgot her sunscreen. Asked the group if anyone had a hair tie. I didn't offer anything. I was already reading. Third night, group dinner on the deck. I wore the silk blouse. 3 days in the compression compartment. Unzipped it that afternoon, not a mark on it. Like I'd just taken it off a hanger. Whitney came to dinner late. Her dress had a crease running across the front. She'd been hunting for a steamer all afternoon. The house didn't have one, and she'd asked 3 people. She kept pulling at the fabric when she sat down. During cocktails, Ellie walked over. She's been in this friend group as long as I have. Runs a boutique architecture firm, travels internationally for projects 5 months a year. Lauren, is that an overpack bag? It is. She grabbed my arm. I've been trying to get one for months. My daughter-in-law is a travel nurse. She told me about the electric pump, the compression. Her whole team uses them. Where did you find one? My sister told me about them. I ordered a few weeks ago. Well, I've been looking for months, she said. She shook her head. How much did you pack? 4 days. Everything I needed. Can I see the pump? I unclipped it from the side. She turned it over. USB-C rechargeable. 5 seconds. Everything compresses flat. When you arrive, you just unzip it and everything expands back on its own. And the blouse? 3 days compressed. Came out perfect. She took a photo. I'm sending this to my daughter-in-law tonight. Whitney was 4 seats down the table. She'd gone quiet mid-sentence. Scott was watching too. His expression was different from Whitney's. Not competitive, something much more uncomfortable. That night I went back to the master suite, opened my phone, pulled up the screenshot. She's going to be a wreck trying to figure it out, and honestly, nobody wants to spend the whole weekend managing her. I put the phone down, turned off the light. Nobody had to manage anyone. 3 days after the weekend ended, Scott texted, Hey, Whitney wanted to ask where you got your bag. She's been looking for something similar. I let it sit for an hour before responding. He orchestrated the whole thing. He called to smooth over the text. He told me I couldn't handle the logistics by myself, and now he's reaching out on behalf of his wife, asking me for help. It's called Overpack Bag, I wrote back, but they're sold out right now. Have been for weeks. A pause. Is there a way to get notified or something? Oh, sure, they come back, but the price goes up every restock. He didn't respond after that. Here's what I learned. Whitney sent me the strategy by mistake. Scott called to smooth it over. Tina offered me the room by the laundry. The assumption underneath all 3 was identical. She can't handle this without someone handling her. So I had two choices: show up as the person they'd already scripted me to be, or show up as myself. I booked the master suite, packed my own bag, handled my own travel. Scott paid $150 in baggage fees before we cleared security. Whitney spent the weekend walking back to the house for things she'd packed wrong. I was already on the balcony. The bag didn't make me capable, but it proved I always was. Ellie, 14 years in our friend group, the last person Whitney expected to notice, examined the pump at the dinner table in front of everyone, took photos for her daughter-in-law. Scott watched it happen. Whitney watched it happen. And 3 days after the weekend, Scott texted asking where I got it. On behalf of his wife, of course. By the time he asked, they were already sold out. Claire's whole sales team has been trying to order before the next restock. Once they're gone, you're waiting, and the price goes up every time. If someone accidentally sent you the plan, if your ex called to smooth it over, if your friends offered you the room by the laundry, you need this bag. Not because it's beautiful, but because showing up to the weekend they said you couldn't handle with one bag while she walks back to the house twice before noon and pulls at a wrinkled dress all evening, that's not petty. That's just accurate. Whitney sent me the plan by accident. I didn't answer. I just booked the master suite. One bag, 4 days, 0 apologies, 0 fees, 0 chaos. Scott asked where I got it. I told him they were sold out. He's still waiting.